What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Marcus, and today I've got something very, very special for you. And I can't tell you how appreciative and thankful I am for the support and the comments and the likes that you guys have been giving me on the last two videos. So what I want you to do is, if you're new around here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a like and a comment down below. Let me know if you like this sort of content and this format of content. But anyway, why this video is special is because I got my very first watch on loan from one of you out in the watch community. So if you're in the watch community and you want something on this channel to be reviewed, you want to send me your watch, something cool, something unique, maybe something mainstream, something hype, I don't care. If I haven't seen it, I want to review it, get it on the channel and get it back to you. I'll pay shipping both ways. If you're in St. Louis, like my buddy Nick from the Manta Appreciation Club Facebook group, then I'll meet up with you. Nick's a firefighter out here in St. Louis, so I went up to his station and met him in the parking lot, and he was nice enough to let me borrow his Christopher Ward, the 12. I don't know if I should call it the 12 every time, or just say 12, the Christopher Ward 12, or Christopher Ward the 12. But either way, I got this watch in for review, and I've had it for a couple days. I did not size it to my wrist, so I can't give you like a daily wear review, but this is kind of just my first impressions on this watch. But I also kind of wanted to talk about integrated bracelets, because man, these things have been extremely popular and extremely trendy over the past couple years, and a lot of people say this one punches way above its price point, and I agree. But you know, I got some pros and cons with this model, so let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Christopher Ward is one of those brands that gets people talking, man. They're micro brand, independent brand, whatever you want to call them, but they're putting out some cool watches, very unique stuff. To be honest, some of their more popular models, like the Bel Canto or the C1 Moon Phase, aren't necessarily my cup of tea for something that I would buy as a daily wear. But maybe if I was a collector with, you know, dozens or, you know, multiple watch cases full of watches, then those watches would be something that I would look for. But you know, they're not super legible or functional to read the time, and they're a little bit more on the cool factor than they are on the daily wear functional side, which this one goes a lot more to that side, and I can see why this has become such a popular watch. This bracelet is incredible, the dial's incredible, and this is overall a good watch, man. Let's talk about it. So the first thing that caught my eye was this dial. Now, in reviews and online, just me looking at pictures and seeing other people have this in for review, I didn't know how I felt about the dial. It's striking. That was the first thing that I noticed when I pulled it out of the case, was it is striking, especially this Arctic white colorway, man. This is amazing. It really looks good. But one thing I'll say is I am a fan of this logo. I think it looks a lot better than when Christopher Ward was just putting the text Christopher Ward on the dial. This looks a lot better, a little bit cleaner, kind of futuristic, modern on the logo, and I like it. But I don't think I like it enough to where it needs to be applied over and over and over again all over the dial. Now, what I will say is that that specific effect of putting the logo multiple times throughout the dial is not near as noticeable in person as I thought it was going to be like kind of like it was in renderings and online in pictures and videos. In person, it looks just like a really aggressive waffle style, way more aggressive than the Tissot PRX. It's got a lot more shine to it. I don't know if it's some sort of finishing that they have on the dial, but it's really shiny. And yeah, if you like that aggressive texture and that really aggressive look of the dial, then this one would definitely be for you over the PRX. PRX is a little bit more subdued. And I only bring up the PRX because people compare these watches a lot, when in reality, this is multiple times the price of that PRX depending on which version you get. So I would hope that it's better. Gary, what do you want, dude? All right, so the dial. Yeah, dial is cool. If you like that aggressive texture, then this is for you. The hands and indices, polished and applied, as well as that logo. I think that looks great. I like this set of hands. I really like the way they did the logo applied. Nice polished second hand. And the lume on this is great. That's one area where it really kicks the crap out of the PRX, is this lume. I got a couple good lume shots, and this really shines when it comes to the lume. One thing I'll say is people really do like a date window that matches the dial. And to me, I think I would prefer a more contrasting date window, just because it does get a little bit hard to read when you get it at distance or in bright lights. So if you like a more, what do I want to say? A more, because I wouldn't say symmetrical because the date's at 6 o'clock, so it is symmetrical. But if you like that clean, plain look, then this matching the dial to the date window definitely works. But I like the more functional side of it, so I think I would have liked if that was like a black background with white text. I think that would have looked pretty cool. But no, I really like that. The case dimensions, I believe it's 40 millimeters. This thing works well, man. I'm not gonna lie, when I was looking at this, anytime I looked at the 12, I automatically assumed that I would probably like the 35 or the 36 better. And I still probably feel that way. I still probably would lean towards the 35 if I were to get this watch. But my wrist is sitting at about 6 3/4 inches. And I think this works well. Hold on, let me try to get this on. I did not size it for my wrist, so still sized for Nick's wrist, but I wanted to get a couple wrist shots in there. I wanted to see how at least the case felt on wrist. And I can tell you right now, it wears a lot smaller than I thought that it would wear. Wears really well on my 6 3/4, 6.5 inch wrist. This way, I would say it probably wears a little big, but side to side, and the height, man, it is thin. I think it's like less than 10 millimeters thick. So the thickness on this really, really stands out. It could be a dress watch if you lean a little bit sporty and you want to go that way. This could work for you. The case dimensions on it are nice. One thing I will say is the lug to lug that they have listed on the website of like, I think it's like 44, is the true lug to lug. What you really have to think about is these integrated bracelets and how they taper down on the wrist. So when you look at a watch like this, like the PRX, like the Christopher Ward, see how that lug kind of sharply, I don't know what it is, comes down like that. Let me show you the Manta just to compare. The way the Manta, it can come straight down into the case and hug your wrist that way. If you got smaller wrists than me, I would definitely look for getting the 35 millimeter, because this way you might be good to go, and height-wise you might be good to go. But I think lug to lug, it wears just a tad bigger than you would think. But overall, if you're okay with this part here not coming down straight off the wrist, then I think this is a good wear, man. It fits a lot more comfortable than I anticipated. If anybody's got a 36 or a 35, I would love to get that on the channel for review. I would love to see, how that one compares. Because when I look at my girlfriend's 35 millimeter Tissot, which I don't have right now because she's at the office and she's wearing it today. But when I look at that, when I put it on my wrist, it really, really looks good, and I really like the look of it. So if you like smaller watches or you just like something that wears a little bit smaller, I would definitely go for the 35. But if you like bigger watches or you're going for a sportier, more aggressive look, this 40 millimeter is definitely going to work for you. One thing I had to bring up, which again, I didn't get ample wrist time on this, so this is not a full review, but I did get more than one complaint, I guess I could say, about this butterfly clasp. Even one female in a watch forum saying that it even bruised her wrist to the point where she had to get rid of the watch. So I know butterfly clasps aren't the most comfortable thing in the world. I definitely prefer a fold over clasp, but all in all, when I put this on the wrist like this and don't really have it tight, yeah, it's not perfect, but I mean, it does hug the wrist quite nice. It's got some good curvature. I wouldn't say it's sharp to the point where I would get bruises. I think that person probably just needs to take a link out, because this Christopher Ward does come with, I'm not sure how many, but quite a few half links. So there's at least 2 right there. I think there's at least 2 on this side. Yeah, so even though there's no micro adjust or there's no points of adjustment, I think with the half links and just how small the links are in general, that you're going to be able to get a good fit if you want it. Exposed case back, again with the rotors kind of got their logo etched on it multiple times, and it looks a lot better there than it does on the dial. One thing I forgot to mention about the dial that I don't think I'm fond of is in bright direct sunlight, it really looks carbon fibery. I'm not sure how the other dial colors, the blue, the purple, how they look in direct sunlight, but this definitely looked carbon fibery. And if you're into that, then that definitely is a look you should go for. But to me, I'm not really into that. So I would prefer the more subtle waffle texture of the PRX. To continue on this bracelet, I really wish that they would have put their regular logo here instead of the text. I just really don't like that text. It's not ugly, I just think it's a little boring. Not really much there. It doesn't have like a cool script or anything like that, just a plain Christopher Ward text. But it is on this beautifully finished bracelet, which if I did have my girlfriend's PRX, I will say that is one area where the 12 definitely beats it, is the finishing in that bracelet. Here, let me get the light on for you. Let me show you a little wrist roll action in the light. Yeah, you're definitely getting some flashy reflections there. So if you want that kind of that flex vibe, this is definitely a watch to go for. In the light, man, that thing is gonna twirl, it's gonna sparkle, and it's gonna look overall just very, very good on the wrist with that striking dial, nicely finished bracelet. This is a good watch, man. This is a good everyday wear for someone who wants the integrated sports style bracelet look. I don't think that that's a style for me that I could at least daily. This would be something that I would have for occasions, not necessarily special occasions, just when I want that little extra flair, just that little extra aggressiveness. Yeah, this would not be a daily wear for me, neither would the PRX or any sort of integrated bracelet like that. I think they're really cool. I think they look awesome on other people's wrists when I see them out. It's just not something that's for me. Yeah, probably another thing that I didn't like is the power reserve. I think it's only like 36 hours, which isn't horrible, but I'd like to see that come up just a little bit. You know, they're using the Solita SW200, which, you know, I've got no problem with that. I hear it runs way more accurate than their specs say online. Their specs are something crazy, like plus or minus 20 seconds online. But, you know, there's plenty of vouches that people in the Christopher Ward groups that say that they run a little bit better than that. And speaking of those Christopher Ward groups, man, I joined the Christopher Ward enthusiast group on Facebook, and I had to triple check, I don't know how many times, which group was coming up on my feed, because I was getting every watch in the world but Christopher Ward in that group. So much to where it even became kind of like a joke or a meme in the comments. So that was kind of funny. If you guys want to jump over in the Christopher Ward enthusiast group on Facebook, They're funny guys over there. Go ahead and check them out. But yeah, I mean, I had a good time having this one in for review. Thank you so much to Nick from the Manta Appreciation Club Facebook group for letting me borrow this. You were the first person to allow me to wear one of their personal watches and get it in for review on the channel. He even offered to give me the rubber strap for it, to do all that stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm not even worried about sizing it to my wrist. I don't want to get any extra scratches, any unnecessary, love marks on the watch that we don't need to. So I'm gonna get this box back up. We're gonna get it back to Nick. And final thoughts, man, if you've been on the fence about this and you're looking for my opinion, if you were expecting me to come on here and say, man, this is a great watch and you need to buy it, or oh, this thing is trash and don't buy it, you came to the wrong video. Because honestly, if you're looking at this watch and you're thinking about buying it, you need to be comparing it to other integrated bracelet models within its price range, which I don't know of the integrated bracelet styles that are around that $1,200. I'm not sure what like some of the High Life Frederic Constant models are going for. I think they're quite a bit lower than that. So, if you're looking for something like this, if you're on the fence, just pull the trigger, man. Don't be waiting around for somebody else's opinion to validate it, man. It doesn't matter what I think about integrated bracelets or butterfly clasp or the text on the Christopher Ward logo. If you love this, if you love the texture and the logo on the dial, man, go for it. This is a slick looking watch and it feels good. The taper on the bracelet is really, really nice. Like I said, super aggressive texture on the dial. Those indices are sharp, the hands are sharp. You got white on white, but it's still legible outside of that tad illegibility with the date window. But if you like that more plain look or a no date look, but you still want the function of the date, it'll go for you, man. This will work for you. Very minimal text on the dial, real plain to let that texture shine. And it really is. The texture is the star of the show. And some people have really strong opinions about this brand and about this watch in general. And some people were, I put it up on Watch Crunch, and some people were like, man, that is overrated. Would never buy that watch. And I'm like, man, if you think this is overrated and the PRX is perfect for you, $400 or $500, go get you the PRX and that watch is awesome. But if you're looking for something that's just that little bit of step up in terms of like the build quality and the finishing, this could work, man. I personally might opt for the PRX. I personally probably wouldn't opt for an integrated bracelet at all. But overall, this is a good watch. I've enjoyed having this in on the channel. Shout out to Nick. Thanks for letting me borrow this. And if you want to borrow something, hit me up at Marcus EDC. Let's work. Let's meet in St. Louis. I might even buy you a drink. So, yeah. I feel like I'm missing something. I really need to start writing stuff down when I'm doing these reviews. But yeah, dial's good. Case dimensions outside of the lug to lug, really good. Looks awesome. And I think if you want this watch, you're gonna be extremely happy with it. Oh, one thing I dislike that I forgot to mention is I feel like winding this crown was like a workout, man. Like the first time I pulled it out to wind it up, I felt like I had to wind like really, really hard. I really had to crank that thing. But yeah, overall, really good watch. It's a stunner, kind of a flex piece. Really, really nice watch. So if you're looking at this one, man, pull the trigger. Hit me up in your wrist shots online. Let me know if I helped you convince whether or not to buy this, or if you decided not to buy this, maybe because of something that I said. Follow me on Instagram at MarcusEDC and subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that bell icon for more. We'll see you on the next one.